Let me begin by thanking you all for coming out today to celebrate the opening of this amazing fire station in the Western Addition neighborhood. I am Mohammed Nuru. I serve as your Public Works Director, and today is an exciting day, I think not only for our fire department, but for the entire city. Every time we open a new civic building for our first responders, we are providing a safer San Francisco that will be prepared for when disaster strikes. This new fire station, which was built from the ground up, replaced one that failed to meet today's building codes and first responders' needs. The new fire station meets national accreditation and seismic resiliency standards to serve the needs of the 21st century San Francisco. How about a big hand for this new fire station? Yeah. I would like to thank our staff from Public Works many of our engineers and architects who designed and managed this project, and a special shout out to Magdalena Royer, Charles Zigueras, Ron Alameda, and our city architect Edgar Lopez for leading the way. This project was almost 80% plus was done in-house by your city team. So let's give them a big hand too. Also a big shout out to Alton Construction, the general contractor who actually built this. This project was on budget, but we had a little delays on time-wise, but budget-wise, we did meet our budget commitment. So let's give it to them, yeah. And most of all, to our voters who made all of this possible when we passed the 2010 Earthquake Safety and Emergency Response Bond. The bond, which funded this seismic upgrade, is a voter-backed initiative aimed at strengthening earthquake resiliency on neighborhood fire stations, police stations, ambulance facilities, and the emergency firefighting water system. Public Works takes great pride in overseeing some of the city's most crucial capital improvement projects. With the support of our San Francisco voters, we continue our work of delivering world-class facilities to many of our diverse neighborhoods. And now, I have the pleasure to introduce our Mayor, London Breed, who has been a champion for making sure San Francisco is kept safe. Let's welcome our Mayor, London Breed.
Thank you. You know, it really is so amazing to be here at this time, opening up this new firehouse right here in the community that I was born and raised in. I actually grew up 2 blocks from here, and during the holiday season, we'd line up at that door on Turk Street to get our toys from the firefighters here at Station 5. But there was also a really incredible connection that this station in particular had to my family. My Aunt Michelle would spend a lot of hours here. Michelle was born with a mental disability and sometimes required a lot of patience, but this fire station not only showed her a lot of patience, they showed her a lot of love. And so time and time again, she would show up, compliment a lot of the guys on how handsome they are. Deputy Chief Mark Gonzalez spoke at her funeral a couple of years ago when she passed away, and so many of the men and women who are standing behind me showed up for her like they show up for so many people in this community time and time again. And they clearly deserve a state-of-the-art facility where they feel safe, where they can spend time because they spend countless hours in this station, and where they will continue to connect with this amazing community. So thank you to the men and women who serve the department, not only here in Station 5, but the folks all over the city in this department. I know that the president of Local 798, the Union for the Firefighters and Paramedics, are here. Sean Buford is joining us today, and I want to acknowledge him and former President Tom O'Connor. Thank you both so much for your hard work and helping to fight for the funding that we need to make sure that we are rebuilding our public safety places all over San Francisco. In the past, through our earthquake safety and emergency response bonds, we developed a plan where we brought to the voters a 2010 bond and a 2014 bond, and I am proposing that we bring forward a 2020 bond because we know that protecting these facilities is so critical to making sure that when disaster strikes in our city, that the people who are housed in these facilities don't have to worry about saving themselves. Their responsibility is, of course, to make sure that we're doing everything we can to save the public. And just recently in January, we cut the ribbon on Station 16 in Cow Hollow. We cut the ribbon on a new medical examiner facility. We cut the ribbon a while ago on a new public safety building down at the new Chase Center area. And we have done this with not only the support of the voters, but without increasing property taxes on small property owners. And I'm really proud of how responsible we have been in developing long-term plans in order to make sure that we are protecting these very important facilities. We know that there is a lot of work to be done in San Francisco to keep San Franciscans safe. And it's not a matter of if disaster is going to strike, it's a matter of when. And when, we will be prepared. Our public safety officials will be prepared to meet those challenges, and they will have these incredible facilities that are in a state of good repair, thanks to the voters of San Francisco and the hard work of the people from the Department of Public Works, the architects, and all the people that invested into building this incredible facility. And so with that, I want to introduce someone who has been a champion for public safety, not only as your District 5 supervisor, but for all of the issues around San Francisco that we face. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Supervisor Vallie Brown.
I want to thank Mayor Breed and Muhammad Nuru, Naomi Kelly, Chief Hayes White, the fire department, all of the men and women standing behind me. These men and women, they always come out when we need them. Not only if there's a fire, but in this community, they come out and they're part of the community. They come out when there's a community event at Ellie Hill Hutch or the African American Arts and Culture Complex. If they bring out and they barbecue with us all, this is actually a community station. And all the other things they do for this community, I could go down the list. But I definitely, when I'm looking at this station, because I was part as a legislative aide when this first went on the bond and they were first talking about it, and now looking at this station, I'm like, wow, it is absolutely beautiful. I'd like a desk right over there, please. Much easier place probably to work than City Hall sometimes. But I just found this out, that our city architects actually designed this. To me, that is amazing because, as some of you know, I was an artist when I first moved to the city, and to look and have this beautiful building that our city architects designed, look, none of those other architects have anything on San Francisco architects and the creativity of this building. Amazing. And the fact that they left these lights here is just so cool. I can't even tell you. But Bernadette Jiang Fong's glass work, and I think if you've gone by this in the daytime, it is absolutely beautiful. And what it really represents, it represents the going back in time in the past in this community, whether it is the Japanese community that was pushed out into internment camps during World War II, whether it was the African American community that was pushed out during redevelopment. This beautiful piece of art on an actual fire station, a fire station that is so well designed, but the people inside of the heart of this community also. I just think it's an absolutely amazing piece of art and a fire station. And I want to thank everybody that was involved in it. The community, I remember this coming out to the community and the community putting their input in, and they actually listened to them. And I'm stunned, and I think I'm going to stay here for a little while just to enjoy it. So thank you everyone for coming. Yes, there's all the great things. It's seismic safe. It's going to be faster getting people out of here to get to a fire or a barbecue. But I also want to thank everyone for coming here today and showing your strength and your support, because we have to support each other as we move forward in this city, and this station shows that we do and we love. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brown. I also want to acknowledge that our fire chief, Joann Hayes-White, will be retiring on Sunday, and this will be her last ribbon-cutting ceremony as chief. And so thank you so much, Chief, for your leadership over the past 15 years in this department. And thank you to all the fire commissioners who are joining us here today. And I also want to introduce your new fire chief, Jeannine Nicholson, who's behind me here. Incredible leadership in this department that I'm very proud of. And with that, speaking of leadership, the person's department who really spearheaded this project, which consisted of so many city employees in different departments that made this project. Definitely, I don't mind a delay in a project, but I definitely want to make sure a project is within its budget, and she made sure that that took place. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the City Administrator, Naomi Kelly.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Breed, Mohammed Nuru, Supervisor Brown, Chief Joann Hayes-White, Commissioners, Local 798, the men and women of Public Works, and the Fire Department. This happened here today because of the great collaborative work we have working with each other. We understand the importance that there is a 72% chance of a 6.7 earthquake in the next 30 years that will happen here in San Francisco. So our first responders need to be in a seismically safe, functional building, because the faster they can respond to emergencies, the faster that we can reduce death, injuries, and property loss. And we need these buildings safe. And so I want to thank, the voters of San Francisco who have adopted the ESER 2010, ESER 14, and as you heard the mayor announce, we're going to the voters again in March 2020 with ESER 2020, because these fire stations, police stations, our emergency firefighting water system are all important to the recovery and the vibrance of San Francisco. Having said that, I know that was kind of doom and gloom, but it's the reality of how we live here in San Francisco. I just want to say thank you to Joann Hayes-White and her team, because since ESER 2020, she has been instrumental to working with us to make sure that these are priorities. While she was chief, they've opened 4 new fire stations. This one, Station 5, Station 16 that the mayor talked about in Cow Hollow, Station 4, and I believe it's Station 48. 49, okay. And Station 1. One wasn't done on an Easter bond, but Station 1 happened. In addition, we also talked about, in addition to not just opening new police stations, we also touched almost all of the fire stations. We've also touched all of the fire stations to remediate any deficiencies that we could with the other excess fundings. I just want to reiterate what the mayor said about our ESER bonds, as we're doing this in a fiscally responsible way, and that as we issue new debt, we pay down old debt so that we're not increasing the property taxes of the voters. We do this in a transparent way, and I just, again, want to thank everyone. And with that, I'd like to bring up our fire chief, who is retiring this Sunday, Joann Hayes-White.
Thank you to our city administrator. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Mayor Breed. I know this particular project is near and dear to your heart. As she acknowledged, this was sort of her backyard, and she grew up here and felt safe here and felt always welcome. And for those of you that are here from the community, I hope you also feel the same way as you always have. If you've lived here for a while or if you're newcomers, we want to welcome you to our fire station, and you are always welcome. It is a safe place, young and old. So, Supervisor Brown, thank you also for being here. Not only does she represent this district very capably, but she's involved in all city aspects, so thank you for being here. Lots of thank yous. This is sort of surreal. As I look out, I wanted to acknowledge there's a number of retired guys, because that's what it was in the day, that are here, that worked here, put in long hours, real courageous guys in the back. Please raise your hand if you worked here out of Station 5. Thank you very much. It's very special that you're here. And then I look to you, sort of the old guard, and then I look out here and I see a sea of people that are hoping to be firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs someday. So raise your hand if you're here and you're hoping to get into the department. Thank you for coming out. It is bittersweet. It's mostly sweet right now, I have to admit, but there are some aspects that I'm very nostalgic about this week. As Mayor Breed mentioned, and Supervisor Brown and City Administrator Kelly, this is my last official fire department public event, and I wanted to really say thank you to Public Works, the entire team. I'm not going to name all of you, but I am going to name the director. He has been a great colleague. Mayor Breed expects nothing less than partnerships and teamwork and efficiency, and Public Works is that, and we really appreciate that relationship. And I certainly appreciate that it's May 1st and I'm retiring May 5th. And I said to Director Nuru, we got to get it done before I retire. So thank you so much. And certainly our Fire Commission have been also great partners and supportive of the ESER bonds. This was part of ESER 2010, the Earthquake Safety and Emergency Response Bond. We've also benefited from ESER 2014, and as Mayor Breed said, there will be a very, very vital ESER 2020 coming up. And our citizens have always been very supportive, as has our mayor, to prioritize public safety in this city. So thank you to our Fire Commission. The President, Stephen Nakajo, is traveling and couldn't be here. He's in Japan and sends his greetings. But I'd like to introduce the Vice President and acknowledge all of them. Francie Covington. Commissioner Joe Alieto Veronese, Commissioner Michael Hardiman, and Commissioner Ken Cleveland. And as I've learned and grew up playing a lot of team sports, the fire department is all about the team, and I'm so proud of the team that I have built and been able to work with. Our members are our greatest strength, and as we're looking at numbers, as I'm coming to a close on my career, very gratified that I've been able to hire 1,200 of our 1,800 members, and most of them are standing behind me. And it's about the members, and I'd like to acknowledge Station 5. Today we're joined by both of our captains. Please raise your hand. Captain Tom Johannesson is truck captain, and Captain Michael Maloney on the is the engine captain, and all of the members, so thank you. They were very patient during the time this was under construction, and this area did not lose any of the members in that we just redistributed, but we were able to keep up with the response times and so forth. But everyone is really glad that they're back here. This is our largest station. It houses an engine, which is an officer and 3 members, and a truck, which is an officer and 4 members. It has room for growth. It also has our division house, and the city itself, from the fire department's perspective, is divided into 2 divisions. This is Division 2, and the other division is at 19th and Folsom. And during the work week, or 24/7, the city is bifurcated, and those division chiefs, and we have Michael Bryant in division today, Michael, that oversee the strategy, tactics, and operations for the city under the direction of the Deputy Chief of Operations. It's 21,000 plus square feet. I still haven't visited it entirely since it's been completed. Our members just moved in on Monday, so they're getting adjusted, but we're very, very grateful for the quality and craftsmanship And I believe Alton Construction should also be acknowledged for their great work in partnership with Public Works. Couple more things, because I'm cherishing this last moment, so bear with me. The other person that I want to acknowledge who couldn't be with us today, and as a small tribute to him, I am retiring on his birthday. He would have been 67 on Sunday, and that's Mayor Edwin Lee, who we all behind us worked with and worked for, and he was a true champion, just like Mayor Breed, for prioritizing public safety, recognizing the importance of having facilities for our first responders, because they need to be able to get out the door, literally. And we did have some facilities that were deficient, and so this is a perfect prime illustration of that commitment. And so to Mayor Breed, once again, thank you, and to Mayor Ed Lee. And also, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge my command staff. Like I said, they've been a great team. They're here behind me, and in particular, I wanted to thank Deputy Chief Mark Gonzalez, who worked here for a number of years, and we have been working together down in the office for 7 years. I will be moving on. Mark will be moving on as well. And I know, Mark, this means a lot to you, this opening, and so I'm glad we were able to do it together. And thank you for your great work. The person in support services that oversaw this project, he's done a great job, and he also may be moving on. We're not quite sure. But he's done a great job, native San Franciscan like Chief Gonzalez and I, and that's Tony Rivera. Tony, thank you very much. And Tony's team, they're probably here still screwing in light bulbs. They're not behind me, but they're somewhere here. Here he is. Here's Captain Steve McPartland was huge in this. And Lieutenant Tommy Murphy, who's walking away because he doesn't want the credit. Thank you, Tommy and Steve. And the rest of my command staff, obviously. I also now want to really appreciate Mayor Breed once again for selecting my successor. This has been a very special month for me. I think it's healthy. Obviously, it's healthy for me. It's really healthy for the department to have this transition time. I think she's made an excellent choice in my successor, who will take her oath on Monday, May 6th at 11 o'clock, City Hall. I'm very proud of her. I selected her as my deputy last year, and I'd like to acknowledge Deputy Chief, soon-to-be Chief, Jeannine Nicholson. And also two very capable individuals that will be joining her team, officially beginning on Monday, and that is Deputy Chief of Operations Victor Wersch. Victor. And Deputy Chief of Administration, I only had two, but one of my finest probies, Deputy Chief Jose Velo, who will be Deputy Chief of Administration. So with that, welcome. We're going to officially cut the ribbon, and please stick around, have some refreshments, take a tour of the station. Most importantly, I would like to acknowledge all of our members, active, retired, hopefuls, and really today it's all about the members of Station 5. Thank you for your service. Good luck to you in this station, and I'll be passing through every once in a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hayes. So if the speakers, we will go behind the cameras. We'll have a ribbon cutting, and the fire station is open, so we'll have people to give you tours of the facility. So if we can go over there. Yeah,